Most of our clients, when they come to us as a prospective client, two things are very important to them. One is control, and the second is transparency. Control is when you know that every single claim is submitted, you know how it's submitted, you know when it's submitted, and there's very little holes in the process of between the time of service, the date of service, all the way through when the claim actually arrives at the billing company. I think you've seen our office workflow so far, so you know that the claim is actually entered right at the table, and so before the patient even leaves the office, the claim is submitted. That's one level of control, knowing that everything gets into our system. There's other pieces of control that now we have automated and built into the system. Some of those would be reporting, real-time reports. Since we're posting the EOBs for our practices into this same system, those accounts receivable reports are now in real time. It's in a web-based system, so the doctors and the practice has access to those reports in real time from anywhere there's internet connection. That's another level of control. Another thing that I said was important to our clients is the transparency. Transparency means they can see what's actually happening on every single claim. So yes, those reports are in real time, but they can actually drill into those reports and look into our workflow process. So for example, if they want to see one claim, they can click into an accounts receivable number and look at one claim by some kind of variable and look at that claim, see which biller followed up on it, what they said to the insurance company, vice versa, and what their course of action has been since the time the claim was created. They also can see that every single claim is being followed up in that manner, rather than worrying that they sent these claims out, they don't know where they are, they don't know if they're being followed up on equally. So the big claims as well as the small claims. A practice wants to know and be able to see that at any given point that those things are actually happening. So what I want to do is show you some quick reports that we have built into the system. They're just some accounts receivable reports. Okay, so let's look at the reports for the back office, or what you would use on a regular basis. When we're talking about transparency, the first thing you'll see on that login screen when you log into the practice for the first time of the day is you will see the AR numbers on the top right hand side of the screen. This is what's called the dashboard. This would be like the vital statistics of your billing performance, and to make sure that billing precision is following up on every single claim, this is what you would use. So the first number here is the amount this practice has collected so far this month. This is the amount that the practice has total outstanding. You'd even be able to see how many claims need to be followed up on and how many are actively being followed up on right now. And then you'd be able to see your accounts receivable beyond 30 days, beyond 60 days, and then beyond 120 days. And then the same 30, 60, and 120 in percentages. So what is going on with this practice is their accounts receivable over over 120 days is 30%, which is very, very high. So what we would want to do then, or what this practice would want to do, is then click into this, or what's called drill into it. There's quite a few insurance companies in our demo system, but to give you the idea, what we're doing here is looking at for what the amount of money is that is sitting between 0 and 29 days, between 30 and 59 days, between 60 and 89 days, 19 and 120 days plus. So what I can do then is click on any one of these headings, and that will sort all of these payers by which is the worst performing in that range, in that time range. So if I click on this, you'll see quickly that Medicare jumps right to the top in New Jersey. All right, and then I can see 120 days plus, Medicare is holding on to over $7,000. What's really even another level of control and transparency is that click on that number, it's going to bring me another report. Okay, now it brings me a report of all of the claims that make up that $7,000. So you can see that there's quite a few claims, about 97 claims. And maybe what I want to do here is actually click on the balance column, and that will again sort by the largest balance. So the claim that I still owes me the most money, or Medicare owes me the most money on. Maybe I want to see the smallest claim. I click on it again, Here's a $13 balance. Maybe I just want to make sure that billing precision is following up on every single claim. I want to make sure that billing precision is following up on the small claims as well. So once I pick a claim, I can just click anywhere on that claim and it brings me the entire claim, including the HICFA, so I can see, everything that was included on this HICFA. I can also see the most important part of this actually is the log. The log is a history of everything that's ever happened to this claim or the account that was associated with this claim since at the time this claim was created. So for example, it'll tell me from the time this claim was submitted on the bottom all the validation process that it goes through to make sure the claim is clean, from a compliance standpoint and coding standpoint, all the way up to as our billers are actually making phone calls, you can see the name of the person. In this case it's a demo name, but you'd be able to see the date and the time they made a phone call and what they actually said to the insurance company right here. In this case, they're telling us they spoke to Medicare and they're processing the claim today, and that they're going to, again, follow up in 2 weeks. So, I'm sorry, 2 days. So you can see exactly what's happening on any single claim, even though you're outsourcing. So that is control, and the ability to be able to see that is called transparency. So just some other things you might see in here is if, let's say, your staff would go into the patient's account and change the birth date from one date to another, you'd also be able to see your staff's name, the date and the time that they made that change, and what they changed it to and from. Here's an example. The city got changed from Marlborough to Newark. So you were able to see every little change that happened, and the zip code got changed. And that gives accountability not only to your billing company but also to your staff, and you for that matter if you're the owner of the practice. Okay, so that is again transparency and control. And when our clients come to us, that is the biggest thing that they're looking for, is to be able to outsource but still have control and transparency. Again, this is web-based, so you can see this 24/7 from anywhere there's an internet connection. You can drill into that number and make sure that billing precision is following up on every single claim. And click that report, and it's going to show me all of the appointments that were scheduled. The ones in red did not show up for their visits. The ones in blue did show up for their visits, and the ones that are crossed out, blue and crossed out, showed up and were billed. So let's say, for example, I just want to see all the people that did not show up. I just type in that no, and now it filters out all of the people that did show up. And now I could just look at my no-shows and see who didn't show up. I can also, once I filter, I can sort, and I can see all the patients that have multiple no-shows. They will all get grouped together. And then what should be happening is on this right-hand side, as people are not showing up, your staff should be going right into the schedule and putting their reasons why they didn't show up. So you can see some examples of that here on the right-hand side, just some test examples of how these patients that didn't show up, and the notes the staff took for those. You can also filter by appointment types. I'm sorting by appointment type. So sorting is when you sort in order. Right now I got adjustments first, and then you see if I scroll down, eventually some different appointment types come up on the bottom where we have evaluations and new patient exams, etc., etc. That's called sorting. If I want to filter also by this, I could just filter by new patient exams. So now I have all my no-shows and all my new patient no-shows and who they were. Right, so very easy to use. If I take this and I just change this to the people that did show up, I can see all my new patients that came in, and now all my new patients that actually got billed. So you can see this practice has missed quite a few patients, quite a few exams that they didn't bill for. So these are just, now that you've seen a little bit of the system, please go to our website again and fill in the contact form. So click on contact, fill in the form and how you heard about us, and hit submit. And then somebody will call you to schedule a live demo with one of our sales representatives so you can see in more detail the system and how it might fit your practice.